Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of 9 to 5 Nerds with Robert Swathwood, Corey Urkel,
Hello.
And our guests, just like the Oscar picks, are Katrina Swathwood.
Hello.
And Brian Pesfume.
Hello.
Today's episode is going to be about two things. Primarily, it's going to be about Logan. Brian saw Logan opening night, I believe, and Corey, Katrina, and I saw it today. But it's also going to be about a new comic from Skybound called Extremity that came out on Wednesday, issue 1, so it's a brand new book. What do you call it, Corey?
What did I call it?
New games are called...
Oh, like new IPs?
IPs, yeah.
What does that stand for again?
Intellectual property.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
So as of right now, we've all read Extremity. Katrina and I read it when it came out, or when I picked it up a couple days ago, and we read it again today just to be...
Yesterday.
I guess I picked it up yesterday. So I read it yesterday, and again today, just to kind of come to grips to what it's about. What'd you guys think?
Who wrote it?
It is Daniel Warren Johnson. He is actually the creator, writer, and artist on the title.
Interesting. Had he made anything before?
Yeah, he's I think mostly independent books. Why do you ask?
No, I'm just asking.
He's unfamiliar.
I don't know many names from the industry. If you had told me he made a name, if he was like Mark Millar, who had 8 different things he took off, I don't know.
I think honestly he's been mostly independent titles. I won't lie, the only person his name I noticed when I opened up it and saw the creators was Russ Wooten, because I've seen him around. He's a letterer. But Skybound and Image are one of my favorite distributors out there. Well, not distributors, editors? No. Publishers, thank you. One of my favorite publishers. So I figured with a new book coming out and it's a good time to throw a comic into the mix of stuff that we review. So I really enjoyed it. I like the art. It's brutal. I like the mix of I like that there's technology in there. Like she has that speeder bike that's quiet, but the only gunpowder weapons you see are almost like muskets. So all the people that they were fighting had swords, spears, knives, and a few people in the book had muskets in the background, but nobody had. There's no machine guns or laser guns, even though it looks like it takes place almost in a space-like atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you finish.
Katrina?
Oh, no, I'm going last.
Why are you going last?
Because...
Oh, she's gonna tear this book apart.
No, I'm not.
I don't think that there's anything to tear apart. I think that it's a really good jump-off point for a book. I think I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the next issue. And typically I'll give new comics 3 issues to get me hooked.
They open right away with a battle.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way to show what's going on. So first issue, you have to get used to the lore and characters, and just kind of shoehorn it all in pretty well. I like that it's like Waterworld, but in the sky. And post-apocalyptic, kind of futuristic, but then primitive, kind of medieval-ish.
Yeah.
So, that's all cool. Story-wise, I can't tell yet. It's cool. I don't know if the title of the book is Extremity. It's about, somebody who lost their extremity. But also, the character seems to be, extreme. She's going to be...
Dual meaning.
Yeah.
Double...
Yeah, basically. She's going to be the badass that her brother isn't, that her father is, because she lost her hand, everything, her life in a way.
In the back, in the letter he writes in the end, he talks about... Did you read that? Did you read the letter in the end?
I read a bit before you yelled at me to come in.
Oh, I thought you were done reading. That's why I yelled at you to come in the sound quality proof studio.
Yeah.
He talks about how he makes his living with his right hand because he's an artist, and the thought of losing that and stuff. That's why the character.
Yeah, and cool art, and there's a lot that's unexplained, but it's cool. You figure out they're very tribal, and they have red tattoos, and the aristocratic people seem to have green tattoos.
So
there's a whole revolution brewing. It reminds me of BioShock, at least BioShock Infinite, what they wanted to be, where it was do you remember them showing off E3, the Vox Popularity or whatever? They were going to be more like the revolution as it was happening, but then that kind of got scrapped, and you just go back and forth through time. Yeah. But it reminded me of that kind of, because they wore red, and Same kind of thing.
I'm wondering if each different clan is going to have a different
color and symbol.
Because they had the red squares, they had green circles.
And like the Zelda map they have in the back.
Yeah, they have
so cool. It's like mapped out. So you see one.
Did you see that?
I saw the map.
Yeah, they
you
have
see
a
the
full
one
on
little
map.
island they attacked.
Yeah.
So it's basically it should be like instead of ships, it's flying boats kind of. So it's kind of cool. I don't
Which
know.
island did they?
It says the island of somebody.
Pessinini.
The guy's name.
Well, this is the Isle of Rodo,
There's a
which
little
is
tiny
which
one.
is I'm assuming where they.
There's a little tiny. They're from the Great Basin. They said originally.
That's what, top left.
But as they were attacking, they said, "You filthy Rodo, we should have killed you all when you had the
They
chance."
did say
So
that
that's
too.
got to be what their clan.
Do you see a little tiny island right next to it?
This
What does it say?
I seen Asmund's garrison.
Yeah, the guy's name was Asmund.
Okay, so it is. It's like a tiny. So you don't know.
Yeah, and like it says, a
really
great
good.
darkness down
Yeah.
below in the bottom. So it's like the world has gone to hell. It's kind of Matrixy, like the world of shit probably.
Yeah, Ancient Dark. That's cool. Well, it said in the back that he's taken 3.5 years to piece this all together, and it's all laid out.
It's fine. I like the lore of how some worlds work, and so far the lore is cool. Like whether what happens in the story is one thing, but just like the history building, like if they slowly explain what happened to the world, if this is like a tangent point, what could be the future, that'd be cool.
Did you like the ABBA? That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Did you like his mask?
Yeah, it was very Mad Max.
Mad Max like,
It's
yeah.
made of teeth.
Yeah, it's made of teeth.
Enemy's teeth.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you've seen that in other things where they take like an ear or a finger or something to,
Remember them.
Yeah.
by-
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is we won't review issue 2. If we reviewed every issue of every comic that came out, this would be a purely comic podcast. But I think maybe after the first story arc, we'll come back and review what we thought about the entire first story arc. I think that'd be kind of neat.
Is there an easy way to know when a story arc ends? Like, do they signal it in the story, or is it like you got to wait till the next one to see if it ended?
Certain books will actually have it. Like when Walking Dead had, it'll say like 1 of 3, 1 of 6,
okay.
2 of 6, stuff like that. Some of them are just, you can tell
When they're moving on.
when they're moving on to the next story arc. Maybe it's they defeated a villain. Maybe in this it'll be, as they defeat more islands or something like that. It might be the end of a story arc. What do you think, Brian?
I'm interested in continuing it, and that'll be dependent on when you have it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I feel the same way as everyone else. It felt like an all-encompassed story, like right in just that first issue. But they introduced enough, I guess, loose ends to obviously continue on whatever they're going to do. But
There's obviously going to be some big battles.
yeah, there's going to be, some, because it said when the guy at the end was on the rock and it had the sign that said like we're coming for the rest of you or
Yeah,
something.
that's cool.
So that looks like almost bait or a warning. And we obviously, I don't think we understand the big picture yet. And the same thing with Corey looking at Extremity. It's probably not just about the appendage. It's probably about the main character being kind of maybe an outcast, or the fact that, like you said, that she's able to do what her brother is not, who is going to be the heir to whatever the Abba is.
Yeah.
So a lot of interesting plot lines going forward.
Obviously, they'd have to gather more people to their cause to start taking on. If that's just one small island, obviously they defeated that. But
You have no idea.
You have no
any
idea.
of the size of anything, so it's too early to say who's backing
Yeah.
them. You just see an attack, which is cool to put you right in the middle. It's kind of like Star Wars, when the first opening shot was an attack, ship attacking ship.
that center scene. Well, if this guy is he's the creator and the artist, this center scene, we actually have it here that we've been looking at. This one.
Where guys getting speared.
Oh
in the
yeah, you
face.
have people getting cut in half.
Another one's getting a flail hit.
Yeah,
by
this guy
second
spears through his eye. I mean, the attention to detail. I mean, there's so much going on in this.
It's like a Where's Waldo picture of violence.
Yeah, exactly. Katrina?
I want to know what happened with the brother, because something happened, and why he's scared about something and won't act.
He's not just a...
No, there's something going on there, and I don't know. I think she was the only female in their clan that was pictured.
I didn't think about that. I don't think there was any other females in the.
They were all men, and they were all referencing Aura.
Maybe they don't.
How many close-ups do they have of everybody on the ship?
Maybe they don't take females to battle, but she's taken because.
Well, even when they're before and
Yeah.
they're marching out, she was the only female seen.
Yeah, I'm looking through now. But when they go to the aristocrats, there's females there.
Yeah, but they're like courtesans. They're not.
Yeah, I understand.
They're not
So maybe
established.
maybe
people.
Thea is the only.
Well, they show her mom, but
They show her be killed.
right. They don't show any other females, which I thought was interesting.
Did you guys like the fucking sword popping out of her hand and chop that guy in half?
Yeah.
That was cool.
She can't draw with it anymore, so
Well,
gotta do something with it.
that's like when they went to the hospital and say, "Oh, well, she's gonna be right-handed."
I thought she was going to have a gun arm.
That'd have been cool.
It still might be a multi-use tool.
Like hook?
So it's a hand, a sword. It could
Baseball
be,
glove,
It could be a couple things.
bottle opener.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we talk about the relation for you?
Well,
and
there
the
is no relation because
No.
I don't have that.
I understand, but I mean, it's not known. I mean, this is internet radio, but Katrina is missing a hand.
Missing? Or
Missing.
just not there?
She was born without a hand, so it's not exactly like losing a hand. We were having a discussion today about when I was on this guy's Twitter profile on the artist and the creator. There was a girl that was like, sweet, a new one-handed person I can cosplay as, because she's a cosplayer and she has one hand, but she has a bionic hand that she uses for other things, an attachment. I don't know. There's pictures of her with and without the bionic, and we were discussing today how many people that were born without hands have a bionic hand or prosthetic, as opposed to people that lost. I'm assuming if you've lost something, you are more likely to want
A replacement?
a replacement than if you were born without one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can understand that.
Obviously, I have no insight into it other than what Katrina says, because she does.
You have phantom pains.
Everywhere in my body.
One place in particular.
Oh, my
You
testicles?
You had something, now you don't.
They're still there.
Do you want a prosthetic?
If they make prosthetic testicles.
They do. But it's not like they were removed. I don't understand that.
Just the innards. It's not they're deflated.
It's not, no.
It's not like that? The air wasn't squeezed right out of them?
The next 20 minutes is going to be us explaining the vasectomy and recovery and how Robert feels now.
I'm fine.
There was one horrible snip. The tendon was being stretched out like 127 hours.
Yeah.
You feel the bolt of the tendon being snipped on the ball.
Do you have any other comments on the book?
I had to go back and read to figure out that was her dominant hand that she lost.
Yeah.
Which would make sense.
Because she can't draw worth a crap.
Well, hand dominance would, of course, she's not going to develop her,
What did she say? She was the best scribe?
She was the best artist.
artist.
Did she say artist? I thought
Among
she
the
used a different-
clans. She
I
was
thought it
the
was a
best
different
artist.
word.
I'm pretty sure it was artist.
Was it artist?
My clan's greatest artist.
Okay.
All the floating planes knew of my skill.
Interesting.
They sure were drawing again.
So they knew when they cut off her hand what they were doing.
I wonder if that's important, that her ability to draw, if that was something larger than just...
Did she draw maps as well?
Yeah, like,
You know,
what was it used
Chronicling
for?
history.
What did brother say? He couldn't read?
He couldn't decipher the symbols in the books of one of the islands they took water from.
So there's different
I wonder if
languages.
it's English.
So yeah, you really don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm definitely I'm gonna put it on my subscription list at the comic book store, just to keep going. Just so it's sold out through Diamond. So when I went to pick it up, there's only 2 issues left on the shelf. I don't know how other comic book stores are, but new books don't always have a huge print run.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure that I put it on my subscription list so I can continue getting it, because I don't want to go there. I don't go every single week and it not be there. Do you have any other?
The brother, for some reason, is still going to be taking over as the head clansman, even though he can't do his job. I thought that was interesting.
Well, we don't know what the deal is with women and men in this universe yet. A woman might be a suitable heir. It might just be the oldest child. Who knows? I don't know if that's her older brother.
You can't really tell which
Yeah.
one's older.
And I couldn't tell how much time had passed since she got her hand chopped off either.
Yeah, I looked and I was thinking
Did
about
she
it.
look like she was a
the
little
same-
girl? Was this like 10 years later?
Well, I mean, when she messes up the other
She
guy,
looks
he
pretty
says,
full grown to me, hunched over.
So it was like a year later?
well, this is her getting her hand chomped off.
Yeah.
But when she's messing with the bald guy, it's then she says, "Oh, Princess Thea, all grown up." Like, some time has passed.
Right.
It's not, and obviously, she has some experience using her prosthetic.
Does he ever have a shovel or is it an axe?
It is.
In that big long shot, it looked like
It is.
either?
It almost looks like one of those.
That's what I
Yeah.
couldn't help
It
it.
almost looks like a geet, like the.
But it looks flat on one
like a
side
pendulum
and curved.
guillotine almost.
On the back cover to show better?
Yeah, that's a blade because it's sharp on one side, and the artwork a little bit reminds me of Heavy Metal. Did you ever see any of the Heavy Metals?
Just maybe on the internet. I never watched them.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit about that. I like it. I think it's dark. Anybody have anything else? I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going to go. That's my
Is
takeaway.
it monthly?
I believe it's monthly. I don't, like I said,
How could it be if the guy's doing everything himself?
that's what I'm saying. I'm not familiar with him.
He has people helping him though.
But he's doing the artwork and the writing. I mean,
Yeah, if he already came up with the whole plot line,
Well, he didn't come up with the whole plot line, and that's what he said, is that he typically comes up with the whole plot lines before he starts a book, and he didn't do that with this.
what did
he said he laid it out for the story over
Well,
three
he
and a half
started
years.
to how to develop it, and he's having a hard time with it. But when I read it, I didn't gather that he knows where this is going.
His other works include Ghost Fleet, Martok, Green Leader, and Space Mullet for Image Comics. Space Mullet is Image Comics, Dark Horse what is it? Extremity with Image Comics, Space Mullet with Dark Horse Comics, and other works include Ghost Fleet, Martok, and Green Leader. So it seems like he does more independent stuff than mainstream stuff, but I don't know what his reputation is. I don't know, obviously with certain artists and stuff, they do not have a reputation for being able to put out a book monthly. So
do comics follow the same thing sometimes that shows do, where is this a pilot book, and then for the rest of the run, it's going to be a different artist? How that works?
If you could see stuff like that happening, with Tony Moore in Walking Dead with the first 6 issues, I believe the reason he got kicked off is because he couldn't keep up, and that's where Charlie Adlard came in, and he's been on the book monthly ever since. So, if he falls behind, maybe Skybound or Image would be like, hey, we like the book, but you need to bring somebody in to keep pace. But that's saying if he can't keep up. We really don't know.
Unless he's got a head start, how could you keep up monthly by yourself with what other people do when they split the jobs between 5 people?
Well, he's not doing the coloring.
So he's doing the writing?
He's doing he's the creator of the book. He's the writer and the artist. The colorist is Mike Spicer. So he does the penciling and then sends it to the color. So long story short, I give the book a solid. It's a solid first issue, and I'll definitely be coming back for the second. And you guys are welcome to read it, and we can talk about it.
Just not with wet hands.
Just not with wet hands.
If I was to give it any extremity, I would say it's my left hand rating.
So more important than your feet, but not as important as the hand that you masturbate with?
Yeah, exactly.
Would
Are
you
you
rather,
right-handed
you'd
or
rather
left-handed?
lose a
Right.
foot than your
So you
hand?
do the.
What extremity would you give it?
I would rather lose a foot than a hand.
Really?
Yeah, because I think the prosthetics for feet are much better than prosthetics for.
Yeah, I don't run,
Or-
but I play video games.
That's
2
that's
feet
what
it
the
is.
thing.
I would lose 2 feet.
Before one hand?
Yes.
So you lose both feet before one hand.
Yes. How far are we talking about the foot? Do I have to lose, I
It's below the knee.
Okay, because if you're up here for both legs, that's a little...
That's Lieutenant Dan area.
yeah.
Above the ankle, but below the knee. Same thing, above the wrist, but below the elbow.
Yeah, both legs before one hand. I would lose 2 ears before one leg, though.
Okay.
Yeah. But I wear glasses.
Would you lose?
Yeah,
Would you
Morpheus
lose one
glasses.
eye before any of that?
I don't think so.
I'd rather have my eyes
I
than
think
my...
so, too.
But yours don't work anyway, so...
Yeah, but eyes freak me out. I don't want to hold my head.
Well, you can get a glass
Yeah.
eye.
Oh, we didn't even mention
Oh.
that the some dude in the beginning of the book had a falcon, and he had
out of his eye?
he had a snack in the whole eye hole.
Yeah, that
he
was
had.
weird.
Like, what the hell?
Did you see the Falcon in battle?
No.
Flip to the battle page.
Was he it?
Yeah, he's
Find the
chopping at
Falcon.
some guy in the upper corner.
Oh, yeah. He's on that guy's face.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tie him?
Nice call, Corey.
Yeah, because the guy who has the eye patch is flailing some guy in the middle.
All right, so I did like Extremity, but we do have to move on to the meat and potatoes of the podcast, which is Logan.
Logan.
First question, Corey: did you like the girl that played X-23?
Laura.
That's a child actor.
To an extent.
You don't like child actors unless they're in Stranger Things.
That's funny. I was going to bring that up. I said she was raised in a lab. She should have been. She's basically 11. I liked her less than 11. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I like 11 a lot.
We also saw 8 hours of 11. And
No, I'd say just as like a child actor. I mean, say what you will about the plot lines in each one. Like, as kid actors, a lot of times they rub me the wrong way. Like, all the kids in the end of...
Better than rubbing you the right way, Corey.
Yeah. But, like, they have to be... Like, all the kids in Stranger Things actually did, except the black kid wasn't as good as, I think, Dustin and the other one. That's not a race. He's just... When he was yelling some stuff, it seemed kind of cheesy. It came out wrong. Why are you talking Stranger Things? So, but 11, I think, was a really good actress. And I mean, I don't know what she's...
But you heard that she's a pain in the ass, right? Was she the one that told me that? Somebody told me that she's a pain in the ass.
No, I hadn't heard anything.
I could have swore that was you.
I thought she was cool. She shaved her head off for the role.
Yeah, I've seen her sing Nicki Minaj and do a bunch of stuff, and she seems pretty...
It seems funny.
Cool. That's neither here nor there.
No. The little girl in this movie didn't exceed that. She's no, like, Macaulay Culkin for child actresses, but she didn't ruin the movie.
I don't think Macaulay Culkin is a
Usually it's a
goal
really
for a
child actress.
child actress.
That's what you should always aspire to be, as feminine as Macaulay Culkin.
But there's so much to talk about.
Go ahead.
Like before I even talk about that movie specifically, it was good enough to where I feel I need to reevaluate my top 10 comic book movies. Like,
So you actually like this better than the last Wolverine movie?
I haven't seen the entirety of the last Wolverine movie. I've only seen like 3/4 of it.
Wait, you went into this movie without having seen the movie before it?
Yeah, but it's not in that timeline.
Yeah.
Oh, wait till you've seen the end of that movie. It actually ties in a lot.
But it's not in that timeline. It's in an alternate timeline.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do technically with the other two. And
It's all
to be
one,
fair,
for Wolverine, it's all one timeline.
No, it's not.
Is
As a character, what happens to him?
No, this is specifically. They said this is off of a timeline that was affected by
Last.
the last X-Men movie, not the Wolverine movies.
Yeah, I don't believe they referenced either X-Men Origins or the Wolverine in either of these.
Wait, so tell me, it's supposed to take place in the universe of...
That was affected by like when the future they were trying to change
When he went back in
when he went back in time.
Yeah.
This would have been the timeline that
Since he fixed the problem.
since he fixed the problem, this would have been based off of if he didn't fix the problem. That's my understanding.
So you say it's if Days of Future Past never happened?
This isn't a reboot. This is its own single
Really?
story. Yeah.
You just made it ruin it. I thought they killed... spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen
Well, obviously, this is going to be its own because Fox owns X-Men, correct?
Yes.
Yes, Sony Spider-Man.
Yes.
Fox isn't going to give up on a cash cow like Wolverine. He's going to be recast, and it's going to go along with the previous.
I was hoping it would be the end and they would reboot it years later, or whatever.
Reboot what?
The X-Men franchise.
Within
Well,
the next 5 years, you'll have a different actor playing Wolverine. I
Well, they're
think.
doing what is it? New Mutants. They're making a New Mutants movie, and it's so the last three X-Men were 60s, 70s, 80s. So the next one will be in the 90s. I've already said that.
With, like, Sansa and everything?
Well, it has. Did everyone see or saw Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going in the direction of Mr. Sinister. They're going to probably clone. I think they cloned Jean Grey. So it's
Okay.
going to start going in that direction.
But did they recast any of the old roles? So there won't be Wolverine in that.
Well, Patrick Stewart said it's his last one too.
Now, I was going to talk about it. I thought... So this is all news to me. I thought they were killing off these characters for good, which I liked an actual resolution like that.
I agree. That doesn't make me like the movie any less.
I thought Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman, like, teasing, this is my last, maybe not, was kind of the same way that, who was in Fantastic Beasts, Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
They were teasing that he might be in the next one, and just, to fool the reporters, so when you go in and watch it, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart having a laugh at people by saying, oh, I might be in another one, but they really get killed off.
Well, I know that Hugh Jackman's done. He said thank you for 17 years. I'm done. All that. Patrick Stewart said he was done, and then he said, "Oh well, I would do it for Deadpool." I haven't clicked on any of those articles because I didn't read any of them beforehand, but I haven't seen how serious he is or not. Going back, the Deadpool intro was excellent.
I was going to say, do we want to talk about the trailer first?
Yeah, okay, let's go back.
Let's tell the preview. It's a good thing they didn't put that as the mid or end credit scene because it would have ruined the mood.
Yeah.
So having it be a preview, awesome,
You
because
see that Nathan Summers is coming.
Yep.
Written on
there's
the
a couple written
yeah,
things. It's funny.
the Logan thing on the
Marquee.
marquee.
Even if they put any one of those, like, if those are what the Pixar, like, little CG things are before every now Fox Marvel or mutant movie, like Deadpool just showing up and have his own little short, I would love that.
Oh man, it was such a good movie.
Weren't there talks of, or some rumors of them potentially trying to put Deadpool in random Marvel movies now?
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of interesting.
It'd be cool if he was the intro to every Marvel movie from this point on.
If Fox would share that cash cow, then not.
No,
so
it would be even if it was just every X-Men one, it would be worth it.
That would be legit sick.
I'm trying to just in my mind before I just dig into this where I would put this in my favorite superhero movies because I
Is it above every X-Men movie?
it's my favorite X-Men movie, and I know it's new and Corey will give me his asshole face, but. The first time you saw Wolverine and Cyclops on screen, it was awesome. But like Corey has said, those movies don't age well.
No.
This movie didn't have a lot of CGI in it.
No.
It didn't have a lot of big special effects. I read about that beforehand. It kept it kind of low key, which I think kept the budget down too. But we have to thank Deadpool for this movie being made. It showed that a superhero R-rated movie can be made and be profitable. And I think it's already made $258 million worldwide. Which is huge.
Well, the theater was full, and it's Sunday.
The theater was full on a Sunday morning. Of course, it was the cheaper showing, but yeah, I'd have to say it's the best superhero movie to come out of Fox. I think it's better than any Blade movie or any X-Men movie that's been made before this.
You put it above Deadpool?
I liked it better than Deadpool.
Really?
I do. And from beginning to the first, when he beat up those Hispanic guys and just was like cutting limbs off and stuff, and I'm watching and I'm like, oh my god, this is how Wolverine should have been the entire time. Maybe not initially, it could have eased into it, but this is a great send-off for Hugh Jackman. He got that R-rated movie, and he fucking killed it. I mean, it was The Last of Us with mutants, to a point. But, man, I can't think of anything bad to say other than using Wolverine as the good guy and the bad guy was a little...
You didn't like that?
Well, the duplicate. That's a character in Albert in the comics. It's a Wolverine clone. So it's cool.
I have a trading card of him.
Yeah.
I
So
remember that. I would never have thought about that.
I read somewhere that they were thinking about doing Sinister in this movie, but same like you said, they didn't want to do a lot of CG. They didn't want to. It wouldn't have been as grounded as it was. So I guess
I liked
It was
it.
really raw.
yeah.
I liked it, but it seemed like the only thing, like everything else was an A+. That was just like I liked it, but it was just a little. I can't even say it rubbed me the wrong way. It just, to me, it was a tiny. If I'm trying to split hairs and be Corey, a tiny bit not as good
if you're trying to be me.
is as good as the rest of it. But from beginning to end, I liked the movie a lot. Actually, you know what? There was one thing I didn't like.
Yeah.
I didn't like how Mr. Bionic Hand died. I thought it was a little. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see him get chopped up.
I'll touch on that. I feel.
Yeah, you feel the same way?
Same point.
And
Got a couple of them.
I feel like if those kids wouldn't have ran, if they would have stood their ground, they probably would have wiped out some fucking guys instead of getting captured.
Mm-hmm.
But oh man, when he took that fucking mutant steroids, he was just wrecking people in the forest.
I wonder if
man.
that was his berserker rage.
Oh my god. God, it was such a good movie. Can we please start?
He had cool berserker rage in the last X-Men movie too. You remember that when he was in the cage, the lab?
Oh, you mean
Yeah,
Omega?
Yeah, and he busts out. He was
Yeah.
feral Wolverine. That's what you want. That's what you're going for.
Yeah.
The movie for. But I think in every movie he's gone kind of feral. When he's killing guys in the X-Mansion, X-Men 2, you know, it's like fucking badass.
Yeah, that was the first time you saw him really lay claws in anyone.
When
I
the guy
think
against
so.
the fridge?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was pissed off.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I don't think in X-Men 1 did he really go ape shit on anybody?
No.
No.
He cut
He
the
stabbed
cut the
his
crown
feet.
off the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
He stabbed Sabretooth, but that doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah. But in X-Men 3, he got a lot of stabbing in.
Can we? I would be honestly not her as much as him, but I'd be cool with both of those people as Joel and Ellie in Last of Us. I know she's a little young.
As a movie?
Yeah, he looks so much like Joel in movie form. I mean, the beard, the gray, the hair. That would be good. But that's not relevant right now.
Eric texted me. He's like, "The movie was so depressing." And I said it was like Last of Us. He's like, "I haven't played it yet."
Oh.
I'm like, dude, you're whatever. Just
I didn't think the movie. I mean, yeah, it was. It's like these guys are on their last leg, but I didn't find it depressing. It was an engaging story.
maybe like sad. Like you're just like
Yeah.
If you compare it to Deadpool, it's super morose.
How good was Patrick Stewart too?
it was just fun hearing them all.
I always remember my brother had a negative opinion on it because it looked so shitty, but I always loved how it
It's
looked.
already back on. I didn't even hit the button; it came back on.
Oh,
Okay, well, where do we leave off?
That I think Logan is awesome. You guys feel free to talk because I could just
talk about it.
go on and on and on about all the stuff that I liked.
I think it had how raw everything was. Like, what did you say? Was that what you said? Raw.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, yeah, they didn't. I mean, they didn't mince words. I mean, the actions were kill, maim, cut off.
It was weird seeing them both drop the F-bomb when in every prior movie. Well, Wolverine said it once
You get
in
one
first
F-bomb
class.
per movie.
First class.
Fuck
Yeah.
off. I think he said it in the next movie too, somewhere.
Well, what's his face?
Or
Fassbender said it in the
he probably said that.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, he read it back to him.
But-
I'm going to tell you what you
Yeah.
told about me. Fuck
yeah,
off.
just yeah. I keep trying to think of another word than raw, but yeah, just the basicness of it is. I mean, they didn't.
It's real basic movie.
It's real, yeah, it's real basic.
Great compliment, Brian.
You knew that black family was dying as soon
Oh,
as they
yeah.
went back to the house too. Felt bad for him.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
And that dad was conflicted too because he helped it. Obviously, he was standing there getting ready to shoot. And he finally clicked the button and heard the trigger and was out of shots. But that's just that kid getting killed and just they
That
didn't.
was tough.
Yeah, they didn't hold back at all.
One of my little nitpicks, I thought that was going to be a little more powerful than it was. I thought it was going to be the girl finally makes friends with a teenager, and it would, from the shootings or all the deaths right there, she seemed to be the one least affected.
Except by Xavier.
Even then, it was Hugh Jackman.
She was screaming in the back of the car when
Oh,
she saw
yeah.
that he was dead. She was screaming.
She was also screaming when she was locked up before.
Yeah, but when she
died.
actually looked at him dead in the back of the truck and then started screaming. I mean, with the kids, she didn't care at all.
Yeah,
But with
and
Professor X,
I
she
thought that was
freaking
going
out.
to be. My nitpicking is going to be like if I was a screenwriter, if I was a script doctor, But I thought it was going to be her like making friends with somebody for the first time. She borrowed his
How?
iPod.
She had
was-
friends.
Yeah, she had a whole group of friends that
Not
she met at the end of the
really.
movie.
She was institutionalized. Like, she didn't know how to associate with people outside of a hospital setting.
This would have been the first time she was out of a hospital and she was interacting with a teenager her own age who wasn't.
That kid was
No.
above her age.
What's 3 years? I don't know. He's 16, 17. She's 13.
That's the difference between
So
consent and statutory rape.
I'm not saying anything sexual, but she listened to music, so I thought it was going to be
No, I agree. It's
a
not a
weird little
point.
bonding moment that when he got blasted, I thought she was going to have that, like, who's a good child? When Natalie Portman's family got blasted and The Professional,
Yeah.
and she went to the guy's door and she's crying, like, because her family's dead
Yeah,
and
she
she knows
just kept
it.
walking to the door.
Right.
And that scene is so much more powerful than, like,
Did she see the kid? Where was she when the kid got shot?
she was outside getting milk, but she walked by the door. I thought she'd seen the whole family dead in there.
I
And
don't
she just
remember if
kept
she
on-
saw the kid.
No, she didn't.
She said later, they killed my brother or something
Well,
like that.
because she went back.
Okay.
Because he was running through the apartment.
But that was the only
with
thing
her.
I remember that upset her in The Professional. Like, fuck my parents. My little brother got
I thought
shot.
we were talking about
What are you talking about? Oh,
where
sorry.
was
I
X
figured, I didn't know what you were talking about.
where was X-23 when the kid got shot?
She was in the same room.
Was
Because
she in
he
the same
came
room?
through the doorway
Okay.
when she was there.
Well, she knew him for 5
No,
minutes.
I'm
You say
aware.
they didn't. Well, if they didn't have a long enough time to get connected, Corey, just like in American History X.
Who didn't have a lot of time to get connected?
Anyways, let's keep going.
So, that was going to be one of my little nitpicks. That I thought it was going to have more weight, that family being butchered, in front of a little girl's eyes. Is she... was like pretty stone cold the whole movie. Like she was killing people
Until the end.
until the end. But I thought there was going to be more of a character piece about her, like losing innocence or something like that. Like, but start to finish, she killed people, and it really didn't affect her. She didn't break down and cry at any point in time. Like
Until the very end.
That was when the hero died, not villains.
I thought it was a little strange that all of a sudden she's calling him daddy. I mean, they've known each other for a week. I understand that they bonded.
And it wasn't a setup for her, like, saying, I wish I had parents or nothing.
Yeah. But that's, like you said, it's a minor nitpick.
Yeah. I mean, I would have thrown in things before, like, I wish I had a parents or something. But, I mean, this...
What did you like about the movie, since you always spend so much time about hating
I
it?
want you guys to go through. You guys say the things that are good, and I come in and try to be a dick.
The whole
Is that
scene.
your
In, the
role?
whole scene in was it Vegas? Where were they?
They're in.
It's basically Vegas. Call it Vegas.
Is it Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Yes, with Professor X had his like mind tremor.
Uh-huh.
That whole scene was just
That was
because
cool.
when they go out, there's ambulances everywhere. I mean, it was like it
Well,
was
it killed
epidemic.
7 people.
I thought that was one, but like in the past.
They didn't
No.
go into it, but Professor X killed 7 mutants.
Yeah, that was before all.
Yeah,
this.
that was before all this.
Yeah, so the one in Oklahoma City, but it was just so interesting watching like.
What's crazy is those guys are frozen, but they can move their eyes, and they see that they're about to get stabbed in the face.
Yeah.
And then they get knifed down.
Yeah.
That was just an interesting little addition to the movie.
The whole Professor X thing going, whether it's Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever, was pretty good.
That's a good setup. A guy who controls other people's minds.
Losing his own.
I wish I would have dwelled into that. I had more.
You couldn't. The movie was 2.5 hours almost.
It was 90% of the way there, except he was confessing to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Like, that should have just ended like that night with them crying. Like, him crying and realizing, and then his death should have been another night or something. But, like, he almost got that resolution, and then he died.
The scene when Professor X and it looks like it's Wolverine,
Uh-huh.
and then it wasn't. Like that was kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was that. And you just see like a young.
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
He looked badass, too.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But,
What did you think about the albino?
oh, Caliban.
You guys recognize him?
Yeah, but he was the one with Storm in Days of, or Apocalypse.
Was he?
Like
Yeah.
behind a counter.
He's
in
not
the
same actor.
underground?
Oh,
character.
same character.
Was he supposed to be?
Yeah,
Oh, I had no idea.
yeah, same character. He can track mutants.
The actor, he's Ricky Gervais, is like number 2 guy. They do a lot of things together. I don't know what I've seen him from besides Life's Too Short.
He was no, he was on Big Bang.
Is
He was
he's a lot of,
he
he's
was
really-
the guy that Amy dated when
The really
Sheldon-
tall guy with
he's
the
really tall.
glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
For-
nice.
That was
Portal 2.
obsessed with.
I didn't see. I
Sheldon.
didn't play it.
You didn't play Portal 2?
I own it. I haven't played it.
Oh god, he's like the main
That's
voice.
funny. He's on the front page of IMDb right now. His name's Stephen Merchant.
Yeah, I know. That rings a bell. He's in a lot of things. But he's Ricky Gervais, like...
He was a writer on The Office.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Just kind of funny. Like, I recognize him his face a lot, and he's a comedian. So when he's a bald albino, I'm like, that's kind of funny.
What do you think, Katrina?
I liked it. I like how they showed him age. Because you really didn't see a whole lot of that.
Well, the explanation is as he gets older, his healing factor goes down. So that's why he has scars. He gets hurt and it still heals, but he has scars.
Except he's poisoned. I feel like I missed something from the previous movies.
It's the adamantium that's poisoning him.
It's going into his system.
That's what they said?
Yeah,
I would have liked it if he got lung cancer.
because they said like that's what's killing me.
Well, at the end, the scientist said, yeah, my dad, you probably killed him. And let me guess, he's the one who poisoned me? Yeah. Like, they had that. And then he quickly capped him.
Yeah.
But I thought it was going to be, at the end, if he hadn't died, it was be some way taking the poison out of his body, which I didn't know what that meant. I thought
Like
it was gonna be a big-
Magneto was in Eden and he was going to take the
I thought it was gonna be
adamantium out of him.
a big twist, something maybe Jean Grey put in him, or something. I didn't know what it was, because...
It was adamantium.
So, it was just adamantium poisoning?
Yeah,
Pretty
I mean,
much.
Well,
You have a
his
healing factor.
regeneration could probably hold it off for so long, but as he's getting older...
Well,
it
how
wears
old is
off.
he in this? 100 because it's what 2029. So
born
he's
like-
like what 150 years old.
He fought in the Civil War, so it's more than that.
Yeah, he's old.
yeah. So but before then he didn't have metal in his body. But like I said, if his healing factor is going down, the metal is going to affect him more. And
Right.
you can't have metal in your body. You swallow a bunch of nickels, you're going to get
Nickel poisoning.
whatever nickels are made out of.
Not nickel.
It's not nickel.
Well, okay, so where Apocalypse is, that's where he gets the stuff put in, right? That was the 80s, so that's what 50 years he's had that in his body.
Yeah.
What got put as
Well, this was
Bond?
20.
At
This
the-
was
at the-
2029.
Yeah, but because in Apocalypse was it Apocalypse or the one? No, it was an Apocalypse where
They went back
They saw
and-
him in
yeah.
the Weapon X. So you're thinking 50 years, 40 some odd years.
It'd be if you said the 50s or 60s.
Well, no, that was they were in the
70s?
80s.
The 80s.
Let's say 80s. So yeah, 20. Yeah. Okay. So roughly 50 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
You look like shit, though.
Hugh Jackman.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't look
Great.
that- Yeah.
They were like what he was doing. It was just he was so ragged and old and just busted up.
Had the limp going.
Yeah, he did. He had the
They found innovative ways to cut people to shreds too, like the razor wire on the front of the car dragging the motorcycle guys
I thought
around.
they would show that in like worse, but they just
No, they
showed it
didn't
from
give
the
it
action
any-
chase view.
Yeah. What has the villain guy been in? What else has he been in?
I don't know. I thought it was gonna be revealed that he was somebody.
So
he
did
kind of
I.
had like a Gambit demeanor.
He did. He had that.
he's a group of the leader of a group of guys called the Reavers, and they hunt down mutants.
I had a question about the group here when I get to Nitpick City.
You've already
When
been
you get
nitpicking.
to-
You haven't said anything good about it.
Just
I leave that for you guys because I feel the same sentiment.
So you feel the same as us. You're going on record saying you feel the same as us.
It's
but
a
you
good
just want-
movie. What, you want me to call it a bad movie?
Well, do
Unless
you
wanna
only ever
be
say
like
bad
that
things?
reviewer that
No, I'm
that
no.
one. What,
I'm no Armand White. Like,
what was the movie that he dropped down to 98%?
Get Out,
That guy was in Gone Girl. Isn't that your movie?
Gone Baby Gone.
Oh, it's all the
Different
same.
Ben
to me.
Affleck.
it's all the same.
What was he in Gone Girl?
I'm going down Jeff. Does that clear it up for you?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
He was in A Walk Among the Tombstones, which I haven't seen.
Are they making a Gambit movie, or is that gone now?
I think it's still in limbo. But let me have it.
He's in Narcos. He's in all the episodes of Narcos.
Oh, I wonder if he's like the main character.
He's going to be in The Predator.
Okay.
So, but he had charisma. I mean, he was.
I expected great things from him from the trailer. I think this movie had weak villains. Him being one.
I might have to see Predator. Or The
Why?
Predator. Oh, because it's got him in it. It's got Olivia Munn. It's got Thomas Jane, who I like. Yvonne Stravinsky, whatever her last name is, the girl from Dexter, the blonde.
Oh.
Alfie Allen,
The last movie had a lot of star power.
Keegan Michael Peel.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people.
If he's the main villain, which I use that term loosely, he's not a great main villain.
In this one,
Well, wasn't
Yeah.
the main villain the doctor?
I guess if you want to call him that, but even then,
I don't
that
think.
guy's nothing.
I think it was a collective of the Doctor, the Cajun guy, and X-20. What was he? X-24.
Yes.
So I think it was a combination of him and Wolverine's not a good guy. Good guy. He's
No.
like the Punisher. He's like an anti-hero. He's
I expect either a villain has to be like super smart, strong, chaotic, and this one he's a little bit charismatic. He's
Yeah.
got that. He's got bravado because he goes up to Wolverine and he doesn't fuck around. He's very nice about it in a way. He's more nice than he should have been
yeah.
for everything, but he's not a fighter. He's kind of inept. He got knocked out by a girl. His whole team got wiped out. He didn't aid in apprehending anybody. His bionic arm is kind of a MacGuffin. Like, it would kind of set up like he has enhancements. Shows you bionic arm, like, oh shit, this might be like Winter Soldier guy. He's going to have a super strong arm.
He could bend his fingers all the way
Yeah.
back.
And they show him like 3 different scenes, like repairing his arm, doing weird things with it. There's no payoff. His arm is nothing. Could have been a regular arm.
I know they
And
showed
it's
it.
a prosthesis. They're useless.
I know they showed it in the preview, and I liked it again where she's walking towards him, and he's like, "No, no."
Yeah, that was cool because he knows she can kill him. It didn't help his character like look cooler, but I like that. That's
The first person's head she dropped off, his name was Krzysztof Szczecinski. He was a UFC fighter. You remember him? He did all the pranks.
He was the guy that she threw the head at.
Yeah.
Oh, in the house?
Yeah, he was
Nice.
bald, he
Okay.
was tattooed up.
That's what you're trying to
yeah,
say.
and he did all kinds of pranks on The Ultimate Fighter, and he's had like minor roles in movies and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's Krzysztof
I
Szczecinski.
didn't.
That's cool.
Personally, like I said, I put this above all Spider-Man movies for me. I liked it a lot. I mean, I really liked this movie a lot. I put it above all the X-Men movies. So then we're split. I put it against all the Thor movies.
Deadpool.
The first Captain America, I put it above Deadpool. So now I'm putting it in the category of Did I like it more than the Avengers? Did I like it more than Civil War? Did I like it more than Guardians of the Galaxy?
I don't think you really have to make that at this point. You can just put it all in a loft and say
It's top 5.
Same
It's
category.
top 5 for me. I liked it a lot. I mean, I want to see. I'm not going to go see it again. It's 2.5 hours. I don't have the time for that. But I can't wait for this to come out. It's a release buy for me. I liked it.
It's almost not a superhero movie.
You're right.
It's very
death movie.
down to earth. It's funny. It's like what Watchmen promised. Like Watchmen was like, what if superheroes were real? But then it became like a CG.
Is this your notebook?
He's like, don't go in there.
Did you take notes?
No, I wrote some thoughts down afterwards.
Oh, okay.
I really wish that I could write down. I don't want to bust out my phone and write down notes in the theater.
But you would have if you could.
I would like to do that when we're talking about these movies because even though we saw it today, you still
Sit in the back row.
lose stuff. I guess that's true. I could, but the theater was full today. We couldn't have.
Yeah.
You really haven't said much.
Katrina.
What's there to say?
Yeah.
A+. Great movie.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. I want to see it again. And you all saw it, what, today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really
I see
good.
it again. I saw it Thursday night, so I'm a little cloudy.
Let's go through a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah, why don't you...
You guys can defend it.
Well,
Okay, like this. So, this is. I top of my head. I was sitting on the toilet and thought of a couple of them. You know, I do.
Do you take that
Number 1 or number
notebook
2?
in the toilet?
Oh, I did. Yeah. You want to touch it?
No, I'm good.
Want to put it on your kid's bed?
No, don't do that.
Okay. He had a shot-up limousine after they escaped through the train, but with the train tracks.
Okay.
Okay. Did he go across the border with that?
They were already across.
They were-
Well,
They're in Mexico,
They're already in Mexico.
and they're heading up north to America.
it seemed like the border patrol agents knew him on a first name
I don't
basis.
think if you have a shot-up limousine with like
Even-
They're in
bullet holes-
Mexico. Who knows what's happening down there?
This is also in 2029. They might not have the.
They didn't build the wall yet.
I don't think they built the wall. They couldn't find the funding for it.
Here's a question that may lead to two different thoughts. Was this group have anything to do with the government, with the people chasing them, or are they a military, rogue
I
corporation?
don't know. Maybe they were like an independent contracting company that had a contract from the government. I mean,
Well, she said they were building soldiers.
yeah. So they were probably, you know how people have military contracts for different things.
So what you're saying, government or not?
It's probably one of those companies that has a weapons contract with the government to develop something, and then once they get it,
Third-party contract.
yeah, third party contract.
So if they were, could they have called the border and said, "Hey, lock it down. You got a guy coming in with a shot-up limousine."
Depending on how much of the government's really left.
It didn't. I thought it was gonna be very
So
post-apocalyptic.
it wasn't as much as I thought.
It was like 10% the way there. Like shit's like it would be like what it really is in 10 years from now.
It's post Trump
Fallout.
fallout.
So there's a little bit more chaos, but like most of it's still intact.
Well, the border patrol's still there,
Yeah.
so
I'd be
Yeah.
really cool with them continuing with Old Man Logan series, but who knows? Go ahead, Corey.
So
Keep going.
that was if they were with the government. Why didn't they just phone ahead? If they weren't, who lets people with guns into a hotel without ID? Even if you have private security, you don't let people with machine guns into a hotel.
Yeah.
So I'm like, or casino, without calling the police. You should try it. It won't work.
I'm not going to try it.
So I have a couple notes. They said it was Mexican women who wouldn't be missed gave birth to these children.
Okay.
There was a black one, there was a white one, and there's a couple more Hispanic children. Explain.
there could be black Mexicans.
Yeah.
He was pure black. There was no half.
That doesn't matter. I knew a guy with 2 white parents, and he was, before you make jokes about it, he had 2 white parents, and he was pretty dark, and it was because his grandfather was black, and his dad was half, but he was really light-skinned. You couldn't differentiate between him and anybody else. It was...
Well, I guess what are you defining as Mexican? Maybe they're Mexican residents.
That's true. Oh, she debunked you right there. That's better than my argument. I
Yeah.
will back up.
I guess that's what it must have been. And then you have to hope the DNA you're being stuck with is also...
You could have had all kinds of women that went over there because in certain areas you can have low amounts of drug paraphernalia, and they were drug addicts, and they went down there to Mexico to use drugs, and then they wouldn't be missed because they're drug addicts, so they impregnated them. I'm going
This
to
is
keep
why we
going.
need a wall. You're
For
arguing-
people not to go there?
There's a lot of drug addicts down there, that's what I hear.
No, we live we live 30 minutes from the border here. And it was in the news that you can legally carry small amounts of meth, heroin, and all kinds of other things there for personal use. You can't have enough that's considered to distribute, but you could have enough for personal use.
You do whatever you want down there.
Anyways.
True.
There's no law. You ever been?
No, never been. You?
You don't want to
To
go.
where?
Mexico?
Years ago.
I've never been.
No, I wouldn't go now.
It's too scary.
Yeah, fuck that, man.
When it's like, 100 tourists got their heads chopped off. Obviously, it's not right in TJ. It's a different area, but still, you're like,
Yeah, that's too
I went to
too
Moab,
risky for my
Mexico,
blood.
so-
So, this is a couple of things. One, the Hispanic lady who was a nurse.
okay.
Okay, so she only managed to grab onto one kid. The rest got out. There's a couple different things.
Looks like at first it looked like a couple nurses trying to get people out,
Right.
but she had taken.
I would say one kid got stuck with an adult. It seemed like, because by the end, all the other kids made it to
But
their
no
destination
nurses?
without help. There's no adults left.
Yeah,
I feel like any of those nurses would have stuck around.
yeah.
So, for one, good for those kids. They managed to do what
She
Laura...
couldn't do it on her own, and she seemed to be one of the most badass ones.
Yeah. I mean, just because this nurse wanted to linger around, and like, she had thousands of dollars. She could just bought a train ticket. And nobody would ever caught on.
Yeah,
But she lingered around. I need Wolverine's help. I swear. I'll stay in this hotel. Please, come.
I do like the fact that comics played a part in it. Like they were like, oh yeah, the 10% of this is real, and people spun it off into fantasy stories. That was cool.
I like that too. It actually became a major plot point. In a way. That
Yeah.
was less unresolved, in my opinion. But so you have this Hispanic nurse lady who for some reason wants Wolverine's help, who heard about him on like the black net or something. I don't know. She made up a poor excuse as to knowing why the Wolverine would be at a funeral one day, and she showed up and didn't properly explain herself. And then she also had a video on her cell phone, because she knew she was probably going to die, but they wouldn't take her cell phone. But somebody good would find it. So she had this very well edited and shot little hidden camera footage thing on her cell phone.
I don't know how well it was shot.
Yeah.
It was pretty jerky.
It wasn't like a body cam. Like it was, you got people's faces. It was like,
Yeah, I take videos on my iPhone all the time.
and then you go home and like edit your secret hidden camera footage and then narrate it.
What's footage?
And then put it back on your cell phone. And then put a recap saying, if you find this, I'm probably dead. Because that's how losing a phone works.
I don't know if you can add onto a video that you've already recorded on an iPhone. If you can, then she could have just been added onto a video
This
she
is
already
the
had.
future, Robert.
Well, in 2029, by when it's iPhone, 48,
Incantation.
yeah, they'll have. You're trying to do the math in your head.
Yeah.
I like her phone should have, I expected to have raw footage of this.
Footage?
Should have footage. Footage?
You keep footage.
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 Foot.
Footage.
Foot, like Foot Locker. Footage, not footage.
Footage. Photo.
No.
Footage.
It's not spelled this. It's not spelled with
How
like
do
a
you spell
PH.
footage?
It's like chameleon.
I feel like I've heard footage a lot.
I've
in
never
your head?
heard footage before until tonight, and the other three people here haven't either.
Footage?
It's footage.
Footage.
Such a minor thing. I should do
Yeah, just gloss over that.
But the whole movie, the whole notebook of
Yeah.
tiny little things.
I thought it was it. I thought you just were going so fast you pronounced it wrong.
And then he
Yeah,
said
but
it again.
he said it again.
footage.
Okay. Good. So we're gonna gloss over this.
So-
Continue.
If it was more real, she should have just had raw video on her phone of all these different times she captured it over the years. And she's like,
So
oh.
multiple videos for him to scroll through instead
Yeah.
of one. Okay.
And not like one that was spliced together, like edited and spent time. Footage.
Footage.
I'll just stick to footage.
Okay.
That's his word.
Did you think it was actually spelled with a P? Like, okay. Like palots?
No, a lot of things aren't spelled the way
No,
they
I
sound.
understand. I understand.
Phonetics.
So, her whole cell phone thing sucked. Like, as a plot point to explain what's going on, whatever. Like, they thought we were too stupid to understand what's going on. They're like nurses, they're smart people. Like, how do you expect anybody
You're getting
working
paid.
at a research facility?
You're getting paid $300,000 a year.
Yeah, the
I
Mexicans,
think you're doing
they're
some
really
little shady
stupid.
shit.
So, a nitpick there. One thing I wrote down. I don't know how those kids made it to North Dakota on their own. They didn't have, even when they traveled on in the future, they didn't carry bags with food.
They didn't show the one that's like Quicksilver. He just carried each one of them there.
Exactly, they should have had him at the end.
Yeah.
He went on ahead. But like, they didn't have travel gear. Like, if you go out camping, and you didn't bring like if you have a little small backpack, how far are you going to make it in the wild?
This is an 8-day trek.
Yeah, dude, they ain't going to make it. Like unless one of them can like do something.
Well, she had like one meal on the road.
Yeah, one good meal.
It cost the family their lives.
Well, she ate pretty good.
Oh, and so villain plans like for what I said, the villain didn't do anything with Robo Arm. A lot of them had Robo Arms, didn't they?
Yeah.
But that didn't do anything.
No, it was probably the appendages they've lost with dealing with the mutants and the...
Yes, that's okay.
I don't even think it's ex-soldier. I think when you're dealing with fucking 150 children that have mutant powers, like that one girl froze that guy's arm and broke it off.
That was awesome.
Now, you would think these guys know what these children are capable of. They probably have dossiers of all of their photos and powers.
PPs.
And the best plan they come up with, this is the very end nitpick, but is chasing these kids down and tackling them and to catch them. Like, in X-Men 2, they had sleep darts to tranquilize kids, and in X-Men Apocalypse, they had something to negate mutant powers. They put kids to sleep.
They should have just killed the kids because they said they wanted them off the board.
And that was another point. They should have wanted to put them to sleep forever. They didn't want them to go night-night. That's what the Mexican lady said.
Yeah.
And they wanted to capture them, so they didn't shoot them with regular guns. Even when the guy had like the M60 on the truck when they're chasing Logan in Mexico, he didn't shoot. He could have taken out that whole truck to head to toe, and Professor X would have died. The other two would have lived if he wanted to stop that girl from getting away. If you shot an M60, whatever he had, machine gun.
This is assuming movie logic is the same as logic in real life.
This is why it's.
I mean, you could do this with every movie.
Yeah, but to some extent. So I thought it was funny at the end, the big climax, all these kids running for their lives, and they're being tackled like. Just gotta get them out before they get to the border, because once they get over the border, we can't chase them.
We don't have jurisdiction
because we went to Mexico and did this, but all of a sudden Canada, fuck Canada, we don't.
Maybe there's an invisible wall you can't get through.
Yeah, so and then,
maybe it's really Eden and there's like protection there.
And then is it leaving out for a sequel, or did they not explain why the comic book like showed things that really about to happen in a way, or like going to happen?
If you wouldn't have had the villain saying we have to get them before they get to the border, it could have just been like that was a thing put in their heads for them to get to. But he said we have to get them before they get to the border, which meant there was actually something there.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to be some like twist at the end that the kids were led to believe this comic book is like their salvation, but they like the people that gave it to them. Like, if they ever escaped, they would go here. So now we know how to catch them if they ever escape. And it was going to be some big setup. It wasn't. Somebody just wrote the comic book, and the kids thought it was real, or the person who wrote the comic knew it was real, and the kids would find it. I don't know.
Maybe Magneto wrote the comic, and
like,
he had Eden.
Who do you think?
And he was there for the kids.
How did that work? Like,
I don't know. Because isn't Magneto wasn't he the creator of Eden in the comics? I mean, I'm not 100% familiar with it.
He created an asteroid up in Asteroid M that was like I think it was like
a sanctuary,
base, but I don't know. I was thinking, is that a real comic? Like, was that created just for this movie?
I don't think it was created just for this movie. I think they actually used
an existing comic.
Yeah,
interesting.
So, I wonder if it really had latitude, longitude. But if so, if not, I just don't get like who gave those kids a comic book and told them Eden really exists, and did it really exist? Who were they talking to on the radio? The kids. How did they get thousands of dollars at the lookout point? Was it already there? Do people not go up there at all?
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, well, the Mexican kid.
It could have been a ranger station. I mean...
Well, he handed him the envelope that she already had.
No, he had extra money pulled out of somewhere, I thought.
I don't think so.
No, that was the money. It was covered in
envelope.
blood.
Yeah.
It was the same money, but
yeah,
he had that the whole time, didn't he?
No.
Did he take it off him when he was unconscious and then try to give it back to him? Here's your payment, the money you already had?
It was the same envelope, I know that.
it was a place created just for Logan. So what I was thinking about Magneto was probably that asteroid
Okay.
What, Eden was?
created just for this.
Okay. So the old comic book, they just made a fake one?
Yeah,
Okay.
that comic was created specifically for the movie.
Is that it?
It's one of the small ones. It's like little things. Like their ultimate weapon was to create another Wolverine. It's not the first time they try to do that in a movie, so in that way it's kind of simple. Like if they had Magneto's blood, or whatever, if they had a Magneto they can control, wouldn't that be 100 times better? Or
Probably.
Professor X?
They just threw an old Fassbender in there.
Yeah, I mean, like it's cool to have another Wolverine, a younger one, running around. But is he like the ultimate weapon in the Marvel or the X-Men universe?
I mean, if you're creating soldiers, do you really want? It seemed like they were trying to perfect it and then create a whole thing of like super soldiers, like Captain America. They would have kept going. Do you really want? I don't know if they'd want one ultimate person to just. I guess they could have one person to kill everybody. I don't know.
So I didn't know the plan was on that. And I was going to say another small gripe is the action didn't change in the way of like Wolverine killing people. Like a lot of movies have creative ways of finding like ways to kill people. I'm trying.
This is such a bogus complaint.
I don't think Wolverine cares about being creative.
No, it's like, but a lot of times like a screener will put somebody in a position where they think the character has to think outside the box and then figure out a way to like kill somebody in a new way. But in this one, he's just had the same stabbing over and over. Like even the last battle, it wasn't really a good battle. It was just him running around and he was stabbing people. And then the main villain got killed by the children.
I agree with you there.
Why he was being like Wolverine was being killed, and the children completely ignored that and wanted to focus on torturing the guy on the ground.
That was also a guy that they had video of him
Brutalizing
messing with the children in the hospital. So I mean, they obviously
It's probably just deserved. It didn't come off well.
When you said being creative, thinking outside the box. When has Wolverine ever been considered like a thinker?
No, not like that. But it's, like in Mad Max, there's never any same like fight. It's always changing. Like the dynamics change where they're at. But for Wolverine, it's not like the dynamics never change. He's usually charging somebody and then stabbing them and getting shot.
He flipped that guy through the air at the end.
I don't know which one. I don't remember.
He literally, like when X-23 or when Laura jumped off of his back and they were doing that fight and stuff.
See,
He
that's like
flipped the guy through the air.
It was a cool mechanic saying "get behind my back," and they did like a team up.
Yeah.
They should have had a lot more of that. I kind of would hope, or him doing something with the other kid.
Well, he went from the side and he went from the back.
Yeah,
he
I know.
went under the chin.
They
He cut off arms. He cut off legs.
The kills are fucking brutal, which is awesome.
I don't get this complaint at all. Like, I mean, he's been the same thing for like 17 years where he's been attacking the same. Why would he change up now?
Yeah, I just want to put it.
If
put
anything,
him
he's less effective because
in
people.
different positions. Like, I don't
Yeah.
change up the fighting a little bit. Like the end climax fight was not all that, and it was a weird way for him to die. Out of all the ways he's been like tortured and stabbed and rebar going through his body, what kills him is like a log.
Well, it's because he can't.
Because you
No,
can't regenerate anything.
I get it.
These are like complaints almost bordering on obscene. Like it's just like this
It
is
almost sounds like
garbage.
you didn't like the movie.
Yeah, it's like a garbage complaint.
This is just how he
I
is.
hear this every time, but like if you had to kill
Your complaints, I'm cutting you off. Your complaints against Fantastic Beasts were legitimate. I understood where you were coming from. The girl sucked because she was sad the whole time.
Did you see her face?
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
trailer. But like these, I'm just like I don't get it. I don't get where you're coming from.
This is like a setup. Like if you were writing it, the big way for Wolverine to go out, well, you'd assume it would be like self-sacrifice.
You
or
should
something.
submit all these complaints and see if you can
Yeah.
start editing.
If you had to
We'll
choose,
get them to rewrite the movie and reshoot
Yeah.
it, and we'll watch it again.
but like, if you had to choose a way for Wolverine to go out, would it be being impaled upon a tree?
I think
I don't think it
yes. I
matters.
think something simple.
In the
Doesn't
wilderness?
have to be grand.
Yeah.
I think it should be just.
That
was
was what
a-
was most powerful
easy.
about Xavier's like resting place. It was just somewhere
He's-
serene
I-
and
And he's a simple character.
Here's my thought for halfway through the movie. They show like a minute of Shane, and Shane's movie where the hero gets mortally wounded and rides off into the desert alone. I thought they were going to go a Shane ending. So I thought it was going to be a Shane ending, and that was going to be the payoff of showing like a minute
Shane?
of it. The cowboy movie. They watched.
Oh, that they were watching?
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
no, but it ended in a very unique way for a lot of movies. This first time it was like a very ambiguous ending. It was No Country for Old Men ending before
Okay.
the ambiguous ending. So I expected that, and instead she gave the speech from it, which is kind of weird. Went on his grave. The grave marker thing, awesome. An X. I love that closing shot.
That's the only thing he liked in the whole movie. Everything else was too
You
simple.
like the ending that it was over.
I
You
like
hated this movie.
No, I like resolutions. I like that everybody died in a way.
It's gonna be like A, C minus.
No, this is an A movie.
Did you guys? What was his review of Rogue One?
He hated it, I'm sure.
Everyone dies in that movie too.
I
He
liked
liked
it.
that.
It was like Halo Reach. It was awesome.
I'll finish that one.
Oh, you see this?
Is that the one I finished?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
the
liked it.
Spartans
Yeah, all
died.
the Spartans die.
Last little bit. While I love Patrick Stewart being half nitpicked, half cool, Patrick Stewart is fucking such an awesome actor. His like swallowing the pills and go, nah.
Yeah, he really was.
But I'm going to place this under, like, I'm going to solve my own nitpick. He was 100% not being Professor X. Like, Professor X is the most, basically he's Mr. Rogers. Super nice, super, like, cordial. And this one, he is the grandpa from Little Miss Sunshine.
Well, it's because he's senile.
And I will say it explains it, but he's a completely different character. Like,
have you had any experience with anybody with dementia or Alzheimer's or anything like that? It's tough, man. My friend's grandpa, who was the sweetest guy, all of a sudden called my grandma a fucking whore and tried to attack us.
No, I'm not.
Completely different.
When in this schmovie, they kind of give him schmovie. They give
With the schmovie, the footage.
Yeah. They give him his pills, and then he's back to normal Professor X for, a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But even then, he's still, like, coarse, he's cussing, and granted, he never could cuss before, but it isn't like his character would ever cuss. Mr. Rogers would never cuss.
Yeah, people change when they get older, though.
No,
People
it's
get
been 20
grumpy.
years.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of funny, because it is, like, night and day. You compare X-Men 1, Patrick Stewart, to this one, and it's like, this guy's got fucking senile.
Well, he went back when Laura came in the picture. He was more gentle and kind, and...
He was still funnier.
Right.
Because he had a sense of humor now. It wasn't like
straight lace.
It wasn't just Wolverine making the wheels joke. It would have been him making fun of himself.
So since Corey is giving the movie a 5 out of 10.
I wouldn't say best X-Men movie. I would say that.
You still say X2?
I would still put the other two above it in terms of...
Wait, the other two?
I like the other... sorry. It's like X-Men 2 and Days of Future Past. Alright. Well considered probably the best.
Yeah, those
we
are
had
the
this
two.
argument. I don't want to do it again. But... First viewing, I would say I like those two just because of everything about it. It's more a superhero story, but...
I put this above as my favorite X-Men movie, and I'll just do the rating so we can go around and we'll finish up. A+. I don't know if I could give it a 10 out of 10, but because we did do a few things that was like, but like 9.5 out of 10, favorite X-Men movie. Or X-Men related movie.
I wish it was sad enough that I wanted to cry. For two major characters dying that have been around for like 10 years, it did hit me.
Give me an example of a movie where you did feel that way.
Oh, fuck. Like, there's a bunch of this. Like, the Old Yellows or Titanic.
Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3, no matter how many times, if you watch it straight start to finish, you start to feel like, oh, man, that's so fucking sad. This movie did not have...
Up? What about Up?
That's the first 5 minutes, yeah. That was the first 5 minutes.
You're a human, you have a heart.
Was more sad than the ending of this movie. I thought this movie was going to do a Superman too, by the way.
Yeah, where it's
I was so glad the rocks didn't jiggle at all.
There was some part in the movie where I was like sad, but I can't remember what part it was. Like sad enough where I was like, "This really sucks."
Patrick Stewart's last words, I think, were the saddest part in the movie.
Or Patrick Stewart confessing,
That too.
Yeah, that was
confessing what?
That
he did a bad
thing.
thing.
He killed 6 people. I feel it now. I remember. And then they cut that scene short, and he got killed.
Yeah.
Like, no, that was his catharsis.
Katrina.
Which scale do I get to use?
You can use whatever you want. You can use
stars this time.
Stars?
How many stars?
I would say 4.5.
Out of 5?
It's not perfect, yeah, but it was great. I really liked it.
As far as X-Men movies go.
Since it's so fresh, I would have to say it's the best, but I'd have to go back. And
Yeah, like I said, as of right now on first view, and I like it way better than anything else, but I want to watch it again.
I'd say it's an A. Pretty good. I don't like except the girl, I didn't like any of the kid actors, by the way. Did I mention that? And I like the girl before she started talking, too. They should have just made her speak Spanish the whole time, and then speak English in the part where he's like, "You speak?" That would have been, I don't know, better. Like, there was no reason for her not to talk before.
Well, she didn't talk because she didn't want to.
Right. But there were points where, like, it could have helped. Like with that situation. Here's the needle. Or anything, I don't know.
She was yelling a bunch. Does that count?
Yeah, she did yell. She was like Link.
Yeah. I'll give it a 9.
Worse than me?
Huh?
You liked it less than I did?
Gave it an A. An A is a 90%.
I'll give it a 95.
A is a 90%.
I'll give it a 95%.
All right.
Out of 100?
I'm going to give it a 9.
You piece of shit.
I know, I'm terrible.
What didn't you like about it?
I would want to rewatch X2 and this again, and then I'll make a decision.
Watch them all.
No.
That's so long.
I don't think once you watch them and then you watch this one that the other ones will live up to what's been created now.
That's why it's not 1 or 3 or any of the 3 new ones. Like, it would be X2 or this, and I'd have to rewatch
Oh,
X2.
You should
no.
watch Wolverine 2. Did you watch the Bullet Train part?
No.
That's such a cool action sequence. You remember?
The Wolverine?
Yeah.
I own it. I'll have to watch it again. I only saw it once.
This would be 1. Days of Future Past would be 2, and then X2 would be 3 for me.
That's fair because that's what it was before.
And I bet you once you look at Metacritic, that's the order as well.
Unfortunately, I have no doubt. Like for my own self, but nothing. X-Men 2 is such a high thing for me. Like even nostalgic now, nothing could ever beat that. Like as good as Logan is, like it would have to make me fucking get in the ball and start crying before I would put it above X-Men 2. This is just me.
Well, we're up. We're done.
Cool.
Next week, I don't know what the topic could be, but fan favorite, top 2 episodes rated ever of this show. Travis will be back. So that's this week's. I don't know what we're talking about, so we'll figure it out then. But Travis Angeles will be back. So that's this week's episode of 9 to 5 Nerds with Robert Swathwood, Corey Urkel,
Buddy.
Katrina Swathwood,
Bye.
and Brian Pesfume.
Bye.